Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Digital Mile podcast with me, Jim Keeble, SEO account manager at Extra Mile.
And me, Hollie Rowe, SEO manager at Extra Mile.
In this episode we're going to be looking at how to rank on Google in 2026 and whether it's still possible to rank quickly on Google. So I guess the first question I've got for you is do you think it is possible to keep ranking quickly in 2026?
I think it's harder because it's just not the same as it used to be, a couple of years ago, where it was just a case of, let's stick some keywords in and Google will index us and then we'll be ranking.
The good old days.
The good old days. The easy days. I think there's so much more to it now, which dictates the speed of ranking as well, because it's not just a quick fix that you can do. I think there's some quick opportunities there, but there's a much bigger picture to look at in terms of SEO, which makes it a bit more of a longer game.
I guess zooming out and looking at the search landscape in general, if you want quick wins, I guess paid is your best option, really.
Yeah, for sure. If you want instant visibility, you want instant inquiries, there's always a caveat to that as well, because your SEO needs to be okay as well. You need to be performing, you need a nice landing page for PPC and paid. So it's, again, you can't ignore it. You've got to look at your whole search visibility, but SEO is definitely not the one if you want inquiries tomorrow.
No. Yeah, it's about understanding that as well, because when we're putting together different SEO strategies, I think one of the biggest things is understanding intent.
Yeah.
So, with research pieces, it's key to make a differentiator between commercial intent and informational intent. So,
and what conversions you're going to get from those different intents as well. Yeah, I think intent's become such a big thing. It's been there in the background for a while, hasn't it? And we've always tried to consider that when we've been doing keyword research, but it's become such a big part of search terms and keyword processes for us now, and even feeding down into the conversion side of things. You need to look at what intent matches, which pages match which intent. And what you're going to get realistically from those pages, and where you want your users to go as well.
Definitely. And measuring the success of the different intents as well.
Yeah.
I know you touched on it a little bit, but the difference between micro and macro conversions, the micro ones where it might be a bit of a PDF download or trying to think off the top of my head.
A video play on on
informational video play.
Yeah.
Rather than a macro on a commercial page being, filling out a form or clicking an email link or a phone call. I think if you've got it set up where you can measure the success of the different intent KPIs, then you're really cooking something good there. Yeah,
for sure. And I think it helps as well with proving the benefit of SEO and having SEO, because we're moving away now from we just want to monitor loads of traffic and then loads of conversions. There's so many other touch points that are important to sort of provide that ROI on your SEO.
So that's intent. What about so you've got a plan, what are the quick wins from a Google EEAT point of view that people can implement to make sure that they're ranking as quick as possible?
Okay, so EEAT, so expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trust.
Yes.
So quick wins here, if you've got accreditations that you haven't got on your site currently, get them on there, because that's the signal for Google. Reviews are a great one as well. Are you collecting reviews? And if you got reviews and you're not sort of demonstrating them on your site, and testimonials, big trust signal as well. Yeah,
definitely. I think as long as you're proving that you're a real life entity and you've got real life experience, Google's going to give you so many ticks in the ranking boxes. The big one on that is authority as well, and getting off-page recognition. So, getting local press to write about your business in some way, that's a really nice way of demonstrating your authority.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing that gets overlooked as well is your Google business profile as well, because I think it's one of those things that you just see there people don't really pay it much attention when it's your business profile.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, my address is there, my number's there, that's fine. But you need to have a look at your reviews on that for sure, because I think just having a couple of negative reviews that you've not responded to can have such a big impact. So think about, right, how can we use our audience and our clients, our customers, to build that back up. That's a good one. And using all the features in there as well, I feel like that's a really good signal for Google that you're active, and you've got these products, these services, these reviews. I feel like that is one of the things that I would say is a quick win there for businesses.
Definitely. And obviously the goal of this podcast is to explain how to rank faster on Google, but I think I'll just take this point to talk about how to rank faster on AI search as well. One of the key ways, and we've spoken about it in a previous podcast episode, is to write with a too long didn't read at the top of your informational pieces. So where the intent is informational or educational, summarising the content within the article into a too long didn't read snippet, maybe 3 sentences or something like that. Putting it at the top of a blog so that a bot can just scrape it nice and quickly, doesn't have to go through the whole page. That's a really quick win to boost visibility, like I say, on AI searches. Yeah,
as well as things like tables.
Infographics as well. That's a big one.
A great one, and looking at the more technical side of Schema as well, which is usually a job for us. It can be a bit technical, but looking into Schema, what schema you have present, because that basically spoon feeds AI agents and just says, right, this is what this table is, this is what this information is, these are the FAQs, and it just helps it read it quickly and pick out that data to then make you visible as a result in ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini.
Exactly that. And more on some technical SEO bits in a second. So you mentioned Schema. I am very well aware that there are over 800 types of Schema, which is a lot of Schema. But what the hell does that mean? What is Schema? Can you tell me all 800 plus types of Schema?
Absolutely not.
No, good.
No. Okay. So Schema is some code in the back end of your pages that specifies different elements on the page. So you can have product type schema, you could have FAQ schema. There's all sorts, like Jim said, 800 types.
Yeah, that's a lot of schema.
So you can get really technical with this. So say if you have if you manufacture really, really technical machinery and you have different specifications for each machine and you've got different measurements for things, you can find schema for all of those things, put that into the back end of your website, and then it gives sort of AI crawlers all of the information to then be able to say, right, this is this product, it does this, it has these specifications, and then it can compare that against, say, either one of your other machines, or it could compare it against the competitors. And the more information that you give it, the better your result is going to be. So it's always going to give you that competitive edge.
Exactly. I think the best kind of analogy to give is, to make it a little bit more digestible rather than the technical machinery aspect, is a recipe on Google.
Yeah.
When you look for a recipe, typically on Google it'll say cook time 25 minutes, prep time 10 minutes. And on like BBC Good Food or something, in the back end of the site it'll have all of those pieces of information that just get extracted and put onto the search engine results page.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit similar to that, obviously without the recipe and a bit more B2B.
Yeah.
But that's essentially the ins and outs of Schema.
I think the schema's more for the bots, whereas the content on the page is more for the humans, but it's about making sure that you've covered both.
Oh yeah,
for everyone.
100%. Yeah. In terms of other technical things that people can be actioning on the site to make ranking quicker, what are we talking about? We're talking mobile first indexing, I think, is the first one.
Absolutely, yeah. If you have poor mobile page speed, Google obviously does mobile first indexing.
It does.
So if your pages aren't performing on mobile, you're not going to get ranked.
No.
Well, at all.
Not at all.
I feel like you've got to make sure, a quick win here is to make sure that you've audited your pages. Go on to pagespeed.insights.dev, is it? Is that the one? I've remembered it. If you go onto that and just pop your pages into that, it'll show you whether you're passing core web vitals or not.
Exactly.
So, and it'll give you some tips on what needs improving. It's very developer-y usually, isn't it?
It is, to be fair. But I think as long as you're working with a technically savvy person, they should be able to understand that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's worth noting as well that the mobile first indexing is for every site. Even if you get 100% of the visitors coming from desktop, Google still works on a mobile first basis. So never neglect the mobile friendliness, even if all your traffic is from desktop.
Yeah, which is common with B2B.
Exactly,
a lot of clients where it is, 70-80% desktop traffic.
I think the thing is as well, I always say people convert, Google doesn't, which is right at the end of the day when it comes to conversions, but Google's the ones that show in the website. So you have to appease them to a certain degree.
Yeah, otherwise the people aren't going to get there to convert.
Exactly. So, okay, that's technical. What about kind of low quality pages? What about duplicate pages or near match pages as well? What kind of things can people do with those kind of pages?
I think doing a bit of an audit on those pages and looking at low performing pages and looking at whether you still need them on the site or whether they could be merged with other pages that are a bit higher performing. Otherwise you're just going to confuse crawlers because there's going to be different pages for different things. You might have something that's got very similar information on it that you're just confusing crawlers and people. People are going to land on your website, go to a page and go, oh, is that the page I need, or is this the page I need? You're kind of diluting that authority
definitely.
And the information and the context of it. So doing like a bit of a quick content audit is always a good idea, and looking where you can condense content down and make things more concise.
100%. I think it's better to have one massive page that demonstrates Google's EAT better than a few that are a little bit suspect.
That just
dip into it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
I always try and keep like the SEO blogs separate to the kind of new business use section, because sometimes businesses want to be publishing about like people who've been there for 15 years and they're celebrating people. But I always tend to keep that part separate to the long form thought leadership.
They've got two different purposes at the end of the day. You want to keep those user journeys as clear as possible.
100% you do. So in B2B marketing, the search volumes can be quite low sometimes because the products can be quite niche, but with fewer searches comes higher intent and an increased likelihood that people are likely to convert on the site when they come in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you shouldn't shy away from terms that say zero search volume because it doesn't mean that literally no one's searching for it. It's just that they haven't got enough data to be able to say there's 10 people searching for this or 20 people searching for this. Those search terms, you could have one person click on your website from that term and they could turn into hundreds of thousands of pounds for your business. So it's absolutely crucial to still include those in the mix.
Definitely. And when we say zero search volumes, that's from platforms like SEMrush and SE Ranking, Ahrefs, etc. But when it comes to real life data for the actual domain that's tailored for the domain, I guess there's no better platform than Google Search Console, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're going to see a lot more sort of accurate data in there compared to say things like GA4 and things. Yeah.
Speaking of Google Search Console, you have a little tip for our listeners, I believe, about how to optimize page 2 keywords to get them onto page 1.
Yeah. So it's a really, really important place to look, Search Console, and I think some of our clients are a little bit daunted by it. It's not quite as bad as GA4, I think, to someone that's new going into it, but I think there are so many little bits to it, and there's little tricks that you can do in terms of the filters and things that can really help you see some opportunities. So if you're going into your performance reports and having a look at the queries where you're placed on page 2, you've got something there that is performing, but it needs tweaking. It just needs that little bit
nudge.
of So you've done all of the hard work there. You've just got to do those little tweaks, and then you can really see some improvements. Because obviously, if you're on page 2, you're seen sometimes, but it's almost like if you're not in that page 1, the top spot of page 1, you're generally not going to be seen.
No, I mean,
it's kind of pointless.
The best analogy you can give for this one is the best place to hide a body is on page 2 of Google.
Yeah.
Because people just don't go on there, do they?
Nobody
really?
Goes there.
Especially with the increase in zero-click search,
Yeah.
search engine results pages,
Yeah.
Increase in AI mode searches, and people just not using Google anymore.
Yeah, not like that, not like they used to.
No, I think it's actually, rather than page 2 being from positions 10, it's now maybe positions 8, something like that.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the search term and
of course.
What every search results page looks different. I think nowadays you get so many different things in front of you, whether that's an AI overview or if you've got feature snippets and
videos, images,
socials,
maps,
sponsored result, everything. So you never know what you're gonna find. But yeah, for sure, I'd say anything lower than a position 8.
So when you say, you can find these keywords on Search Console, what should I do with them? If I'm someone who's, got access to the website, got access to Search Console, I find these keywords, what the hell do I do with them now?
So, 3 things I would do instantly: go to the page, make sure it's in your headers, make sure you've got it in your first paragraph of content, and then also link to that page from other performing pages on the site.
So let's try and summarise in 3 handy tips kind of how to do this quickly. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
So number 1, hit me.
I would say go and find your opportunities in Search Console.
Yeah.
Very quick win there. Like I say, you've done all the hard work. Just go and make some tweaks to those pages. How about you?
My top tip would be internal linking. It would be around internal linking. So number 1, you can never really have too many internal links. So passing on the link juice, which is an SEO term, from pages that rank pretty well over to sub-pages and pages that need a little bit of a boost. That's a really good tip.
Yep, and then I think my last one would be technical. So go and have a look at your mobile page performance, and if it's not performing on key pages on your website, speak to your developers.
Definitely. There you go. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Digital Mile podcast, where we've explored how to rank quickly on Google. It is still possible. It's not instant anymore, but it is doable, and that's on Blue Link SEO, the traditional one, and on AI searches as well. And for more information, you can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and all the links will be in the description below.